Hello everyone, and let's just cut to the chase because why not? It happened. It finally happened. The Dark Ages are over. EA has lost the exclusive rights to the Star Wars gaming license. Thank the gods, Zeus, Kratos, Percy Jackson, all of them. Thank you. It's over. A new dawn has begun, and we can look towards the future. A brighter, better future filled with many, hopefully quality Star Wars games. The past 48 hours have brought us more Star Wars gaming news than the past year has in total, maybe the past 2 years. Yet I can't help but want to take a moment and just appreciate how huge it is that Lucasfilm has come to their senses and have taken the first major step in actually utilizing the Star Wars license properly, at least when it comes to games. For like 2 years now, I've been saying that what Lucasfilm needs to do is take this license and spread it around with other developers and publishers. It's no problem letting EA continue with Battlefront and the Fallen Order series, but the exclusivity needed to end. Extending their deal past their current arrangement would have been asinine. I wasn't saying this because it was some galaxy brain idea to spread the license around. It was just the obvious thing to do. Competition usually leads to quality, and plenty of other people were saying the same thing, and thankfully, Lucasfilm felt the same way as many fans, and now they can begin to make up for the mostly underwhelming past decade or so. You can count the number of major Star Wars gaming releases from the past 10 years on one hand, and when we narrow that down to games that weren't busted at launch, the number gets considerably smaller. Credit where it's due, EA has trended upwards a bit over the years. Battlefront 2 is a much better game now than it was at release, Fallen Order is quite good, and Squadrons accomplished what it was meant to, but EA is going to need several more quality games in a row before I would say their track record with Star Wars is anything even close to good, and I am not even going to pretend to be upset they lost their exclusivity. The opposite is true. I am so glad about this, if you can't tell. If there was an EA Star Wars exclusivity grave outside my house, I would be dancing on it right now, and you probably wouldn't be getting this video because I'd be pretty busy with that. Of course, the exclusivity thing barely scratches the surface when it comes to what we've learned over the past couple of days. A brand new open world Star Wars game from Ubisoft was announced, as was an Indiana Jones game from Bethesda, which isn't Star Wars, but is still Lucasfilm. Yet from all that and from everything we've learned, one of the most exciting bits to come from all this was the article laying out the future of Star Wars gaming on StarWars.com. The opening line of the article just sets the stage for what they have planned and their attitude towards righting the wrongs of the past 10 years, as it kicks off with the line, "The Star Wars gaming galaxy is about to experience its own Big Bang." Finally, the gaming side of things won't be the neglected child of the Star Wars license. Over the past year, we've had announcements for 467 Disney Plus shows, a major publishing undertaking with the High Republic, a handful of movie reveals, and plenty of other announcements, yet Star Wars gaming news has been borderline dormant for like 2 years. Personally, I've been getting somewhat tired of constantly hearing Star Wars games are coming for the past 5 years, only to learn later that the games that were planned were cancelled because of poor management or some other, usually stupid, reason. Now Lucasfilm has a vision, they have a plan and a mission. They even say near the end of the article that this break from EA exclusivity and the deals with other devs have been in the works for years, and that during 2021 we'll be getting more announcements for games that are, quote, representative of the legacy of the old Lucasfilm games that we are now trying to live up to. In my opinion, that sounds like the license is finally in good hands with some actual direction. LucasArts had a run in the early 2000s that is still impressive to this day, and if Lucasfilm Games' new direction can even come close to that, I think we are in very good hands. The VP of Lucasfilm Games, Doug Riley, said yesterday that this is just the beginning of a very exciting year for Star Wars games. I'm not sure if that only means announcements or they actually have games slotted for this year that just haven't been announced, maybe unannounced projects from EA or others. Either way, I mean, this is all the best news we've heard when it comes to Star Wars gaming in a very long time, probably in like 15 years or longer. I mean, who knows? I wasn't following Star Wars gaming news back then at the spry age of 5. Of course, we don't know too many specifics on what games from what developers are currently in development yet, as I'm sure they want to spread the hype out, but man, this is all just so great. Right now, we know that Bethesda is currently working on a brand new Indiana Jones game, which, as I said earlier, isn't Star Wars, but is Lucasfilm and was announced Monday as part of Lucasfilm Games rebranding. And we also know that Ubisoft is working on that new open-world Star Wars game, which is very exciting, and only the first of many announcements on the way. When it comes to this open-world game from Ubisoft, I mean, full disclosure, I have very limited experience with their games. I've played a couple of the recent Assassin's Creed games, but that's about it. But just as an idea, an open-world Star Wars game is what fans have been begging for since the dawn of time, or for a few years anyway. I mean, the potential there is off the charts. You can do just about anything with that format, and Star Wars is the perfect setting for an open world game. Much of the work in terms of world building is already established, and world building is so important when it comes to open world games actually feeling real. There have been some rumors that this open world game is in fact a Mandalorian game, and if that's the case, I mean, can you even imagine how incredible something like that would be? You know, gameplay wise, you could take bounties, upgrade your Beskar armor, travel from planet to planet. I mean, the idea of a Witcher 3 type game in the Star Wars universe is a dream come true for me. Witcher 3 is my favorite single player game of all time by far, and you throw the Star Wars license and universe in there on top of that style of game, yeah, I'm sold already. One thing I have wondered is whether or not this game will have a set player character, like will you be a set person that already exists in the Star Wars universe with an established personality, like maybe even Din Djarin, or will you create your own character? If it is Mandalorian related, will you create your own Mandalorian? I would love to hear what you guys actually prefer of those two options, because I usually prefer having a set character. For some games they wouldn't really work at all without one, but when it comes to Star Wars and the Star Wars universe, I wouldn't at all mind creating my own character, as it definitely gives the games more freedom and more options. Another great thing to come from all of this is what spreading the license around is going to do to EA when it comes to their future Star Wars projects, because they are still going to make games, they just don't have the sole rights to Star Wars games anymore. I mean, we know what happens when EA has full control over other licenses, like say Madden or FIFA for instance. They just go on autopilot. No longer are Star Wars fans going to have to rely on EA for all Star Wars gaming, so EA is going to have to step up and make sure they are releasing quality from here on out, or people just won't buy their games. If we're getting 3-4 major Star Wars games a year from various publishers, EA is going to have to make sure their games are worth purchasing. Fallen Order was a good step towards quality, although Respawn deserves most of the credit, but still, let's just hope that quality can keep up. Of course, there are diehards who will buy every single Star Wars game regardless of anything, but when it comes to the masses and just casual fans, if there are multiple Star Wars games coming out a year, they are going to need to make sure their games are worth the purchase over the other games, which is going to equal more quality for us. Anyway guys, that is going to do it for today's video. If you are new around here, feel free to subscribe, I would definitely appreciate it. And if you did enjoy and could leave a like, I would appreciate that as well. If you can't tell, I am just so happy about all of this news. I love making content and love making Star Wars gaming videos, and it sounds like we as fans are going to be feasting for the next few years, and hopefully for the foreseeable future, which, well, is great for us. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.